Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport on YouTube, and today we're going to be previewing the FA Community Shield game between Chelsea and Manchester City, taking place this weekend at Wembley Stadium, Sunday, 3 o'clock kickoff, and it should be, well, an exciting game between the champions of England and the FA Cup winners, Chelsea themselves. Of course, Jack here, a residential Chelsea fan, here to talk about the game itself today. First big test for Chelsea and first big test for your new manager as well, Sarri coming in. How do you think Chelsea should really be looking to approach this game?
Honestly, it's really difficult to think about it because we've had such a, shall we just say, a random summer at Chelsea Football Club. I can't really understand what's going on. I think the World Cup has really impacted what we've done. Antonio Conte was still our manager until after the World Cup, even though we all knew after the FA Cup final, really, when he won that trophy. I think pretty much before the FA Cup final. That he wasn't going to be there. So he's obviously took his payout, which you can see why, but he took like 3 days of training before he even left, and obviously Sarri's come in. He's had a few games of pre-season. We haven't done too bad, but like you said, this is the test now. This is the first test, the first game, and this is the first game of the real season, because I think although people say how much of a terrible trophy this is, it still counts at the end of the day. And,
if you win it, it counts as a trophy. If you lose, it's just another pre-season game.
It's just a rubbish. It's just a rubbish cup. But I think it is the first test, and ultimately we'll see what he's done, because obviously he's going to change the tactics to what Conte did. Conte was very more conservative. Sarri's very more attacking minded. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and whether they've had enough time to sort of implement that to the players that have been there.
From what I've noticed so far in the pre-season under Sarri, Barkley and Morata have seemed to flourish into new roles and become better players than what they were under Conte. Do you think they'll get another chance to shine again in this Community Shield game? Because you would think perhaps with, you still got your Belgium and the English players that you do have at your team still away from the team, French contingents as well, as in terms of Kante, still away after their World Cup break. So opportunities for Barkley and Morata, who didn't get into the England and Spain teams respectively, an opportunity here to shine really and to prove the critics wrong, especially in Morata's case.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of talk of Morata maybe not being there next season. I think that's silly talk really. He's still young, and when you're a striker in the Premier League, you either have a fantastic year immediately, or it takes a bit of time to get into it. So he's definitely the latter. So it'll be interesting, hopefully, to see Morata kick on, and Barkley as well. He joined midway through the season, was still half, not fully fit. So he's starting pre-season now and sort of hit the ground running. And I think he'll stay with the team that he's played mostly for pre-season, because with like you said, like the likes of Hazard, Courtois, Kante, not in the squad. He needs to sort of pick the team that he's been used to immediately at the club. So I think Barkley and Morata will obviously start. The new signing Jorginho as well.
Got him as well.
He'll be in play. And of course, Loftus-Cheek hasn't left the club yet, which is obviously good news. So hopefully
came back a week early from his England duties. So are you expecting him to get involved in this Community Shield?
I hope so, and I hope he stays for the season. Obviously there's been talk of maybe going back to Palace, maybe a permanent deal somewhere else. But I think with Chelsea maybe not buying in as many as they normally do, keeping someone like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, it is obviously going to be a benefit to us, and hopefully he gets a few starts this year, and you never know, he might start on the weekend.
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll get an opportunity to prove himself really, because if there's any spot in the Chelsea team that's highly dense at the moment, it is that midfield. You've got plenty of options there, so hopefully he's able to get a game time and prove himself. Whereas City, on the other hand, they have more of a selection problem in terms of wingers. Now, Mahrez did get injured during their tour in America, I think it was, against Inter Milan, knee injury, but this week he has been shown that there's no real damage to it, maybe just a little bit of bruise and whatnot, as you would expect from an injury like that, being forced to go off early in the game. But he should be able to play in this one against Chelsea. What kind of impact do you think Mahrez can have in this kind of game? Because it was only a couple of seasons ago that he was really the key cornerstone towards Leicester City winning the Premier League.
Yeah, and he still was important, right up until he left the club. We sort of knew he was going. It was still a bit of a surprise. I expect that Man City, paid that money for him, because they have in general a lot of good players in that area. So obviously Sterling is probably still away, and Sane is in the team. Is Jesus?
I think he might still be away because it was with Brazil. They got to the quarters, didn't they, in the World Cup? So he might be coming back this week. Might not be. Yeah. I'm not too sure.
So yeah, I think Mahrez will. Mahrez will make an impact as well. I think Bernardo Silva and they've still got a highly good.
Sané as well didn't even go to the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Sané's there as well. So they've got a huge amount of top players in that area. So it's definitely interesting to see. Hopefully for our sake at Chelsea, they play Joe Hart. So I'm hoping that Pep Guardiola decides that Joe Hart is the right man for the weekend.
I mean, Bravo might not be too difficult to test.
Well, no, I say that as Jamie shouted on the camera. Courtois is not with us, so we've either got Caballero or Rob Green. So I think Man City are going to win. I think Man City are going to win.
Potentially. I mean, if they got Aguero and Gundogan back in training this week as well, potentially available for the tie at the weekend, it could be a really difficult test for Chelsea to begin with.
Yeah.
How do you think this game's going to unfold? What do you think the scoreline is going to be?
I still think it's going to be one of them games. It depends actually with the heat as well, whether we still have hot weather coming the weekend. Because that will
play into an impact of how teams play.
Yeah, because I think the pace, if it's still hot weather, they're still getting back into shape. I know a few of them may have gone to the World Cup and a few of them may have been on holiday or whatever, but it still will play an impact, especially with the heat on the pitch. So I don't think it'll be a fast game. I think people will still be getting used to it, especially Chelsea still getting used to our system. So I probably think Man City will finish the game as winners, but obviously as a Chelsea fan, I'd like to think 1-0 Chelsea. But with Man City having that fluidity that they had last season and bringing in some decent players, it wouldn't be too obvious if you went for Man City to win this.
Yeah, certainly wouldn't be. I think it could go either way, which is why I've got it for a really close scoreline of 2-1. But I actually go in favour of Chelsea because I think Sarri, with his new system, this is as we mentioned, his first real true test with something on the line, and it would be a good impact for him and for Chelsea next season in the Premier League to get themselves back into Champions League football by starting off by beating off the champions straight away. Yeah. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Chelsea win, and let's see what kind of impact Barkley and Morata have in this game as well, because it could be their opportunity to break into the Chelsea first team. So what are your own predictions for the game itself? Let us know in the comments section below this video. Don't forget to like it, subscribe for more Let's Talk Sport content, and we shall see you all very soon.